Yo, what going on? It's your boy Josh, same difference. Back here with another one. I get the gentleman on tonight because the gentleman he had some ungentlemanly behavior and was going in on me. You would think this man and me ain't cool. Did you know? And apparently y'all don't know. But me and the gentleman, Marcus Norman, are brothers, like blood brothers. That's my blood brother for real. And if you see how this man was talking about your boy, you would think he don't like me. But it's all cool because sibling rivalry and all that. Good afternoon, Mary. Good afternoon. Thanks for coming through. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Appreciate you. So let me show you what led us here today. It's just a short clip showing how we got from two brothers to two enemies. And we going in tonight and why we're talking about high value man versus a man of value. So this is what started it. And this is him talking about, oh, we can't talk about soft girl ever, but can't talk about the value of men. And this is him basically calling me soft and shying away from the discussion. Me, me, shying away from discussions and topics. Wow, that's rough. But we're gonna see what he have to say. First, I do want to read this out, right? So this is the six traits of a high value man, given to us from none other than the Godfather from his grave, rest in peace, Kevin Samuels. The first thing, money. Of course, that's at number one, right? Number one, money. $10,000 a month in Atlanta dollars. He made that very clear. It had to be in Atlanta dollars, all right? Number two, the length of time you've had that money. You have to have had that money consistently for at least 3 to 5 years to be considered a high value man. Three, group acceptance by other high value men. Four, network of high value men first, then everybody else. Five, visibility. Position and income are LinkedIn level. So basically, you have to be visibly a high value man, meaning you have to have a position that's worthy of LinkedIn and worthy of bragging about it. Six, utility. You're useful to others and the group. You have to be useful. The money that you make and who you are has to be useful to other people as well as the network. In order to be a high value man, those are the six things, six traits. Hey, Aquarius, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thanks for coming in. All right. So I don't know if you know him or not, but we're going to bring him on, my brother, the gentleman, after these messages. Yo, 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 yo. We back.
Hey,
Marcus, Mr. Gentleman.
how
I
are
don't think you
you?
need any introduction, but how you feeling?
I'm
Hmm?
feeling fantastic. Like I said, um, big bro, great introduction. It's tough love. Tough love is tough out there. But yeah, man, I'm glad to be here. You have a great platform. Love what you're doing. Love how you've grown, and thank you for having me on today.
Thank you for coming. Also, if you like this gooseberry hoodie and hat, Hungry Hearts Hustle, uh, Walt Eugene is the CEO and owner of Hungry Hearts Hustle. It is VI Black owned, and you can get it at hungryheartshustleapparel.com or in Urban Threads and Sunny Isles. No, I'm not paid for this. I just wear it because I like it.
Mm,
All right.
I
I'm gonna
dig it.
put the information in the comment section afterwards so you can look for it if you like it. But it's gooseberry colored. You hear that? All right. So talk to me, sir. So obviously you're
Shots were
a high
fired.
value man. You're a high value man, and you came at me very aggressive. I mean, like it. But you're a high value man. If you don't know, this man owns an ATM business. He works full time. He sells property. He owns property. This is Scrooge McDuck in the making.
Thank you. So shots were fired.
Uh
Shots were
huh.
fired, and so yeah, it was. it was a push for me to kind of push out there on you, that hey, we could talk about, soft girl era. We could talk about this, but we can't talk about the value or the high value that men bring to the table. What's up with that? That was what what my intention was, and it's nothing but love, right? I thought it was until the what you all don't see is the rest of that conversation. He showed you a snippet, but it went pretty lengthy, back and forth until I just fell asleep. But it was good. It was good. But yeah, man, I'm a big advocate of men and women. But I also I believe that men aren't talked about, celebrated, or heard enough. And so I get antsy, right? I get a little antsy when I see a consistent, let's talk about women and protecting our women and brick to the face, right? But we won't talk about the men that are dying, the men that are incarcerated, the men that we're losing. And there's a value to men that we're missing out on. So that's the challenge. I challenge every podcast.
Mhm.
You just happen to be my target for that day.
All right. So here's the thing. If you look through our history, right, we've been doing this for almost 2 years now. Well, maybe like a year and a half. And majority of the guests that we've had have been women. The reason why is because women, black women are doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't deny it. The numbers show it. Black women are doing it and they're doing it big. And then another reason, we would love to talk to men. We would love to have more men on. Matter of fact, we have some coming on in a couple days. We have some black men that are doing it, captains of industry and whatnot. However, you know what's an issue? Getting black men to talk. That is a fucking issue. You hear me? Because anytime you ask them anything outside of drinking beer and football and shit like that, they get.
Yeah.
So, yes, we advocate for men and women as a whole. We do. However, there's certain topics because it delves into stuff that we're not really a part of. There's the manosphere and that whole like Steve Harvey versus what other dude name is? What the one that's under investigation right now?
What for
You know who
for
I'm talking
what?
about. He's under investigation for like scamming older men and Tate.
I was gonna
Andrew
say
Tate.
Jonathan Majors. I was like, what are we talking? Where?
Andrew Tate and them, we're not in that fresh and fit podcast type of thing. We never have been. That's why we don't talk about it. It gets talked about enough, quite frankly.
Yeah, black.
So,
Uh,
Marcus, gentlemen. So you went hard. I kind of took it like you're on the side of high value men, right? Because you are one. You are one. So what is it about the high value man versus men of value thing that even triggered you?
so, I thank you for the compliment. I don't identify as a high value man. I'm doing a lot. I'm doing a lot.
Uh-huh.
Right? We're both doing a lot. And let me talk on your first point. Your first point is yes, men, it's difficult to get them to share. It is very difficult to get them to share. Absolutely. You're not wrong on that 1000%. That being said, and I think it's trickling down to relationships because men aren't sharing, but also to men have been undervalued for a very long time. And so what triggered me is again when what's happening in relationships are men are opting out altogether. Men are choosing to remain bachelors because we are not under the same restraints as a woman is. I don't have to have kids by an early age. I don't have to have kids by a certain time. I don't have to have the same um, things that necessarily lock me down, right? And so men can have kids well into their 60s. I spent a lot of time reading. I spent a lot of time reading books of titans of industry. And what I've learned and what I've uncovered about the J.P. Morgan, the John D. Rockefeller, all these titans of industry, they didn't get married until much later on, much later on. You're talking 30s, 40s, 50s, and then they decide to settle down. And the reason for this is they establish themselves within their industries, and then they find a suitable wife to marry. And so when so men have been undervalued for a long time, and so we're pushed to the side when we go through divorce, when we go in marriages, right? All these things don't end well for a man, right? Where there's not a lot of benefits or access or programs available to a man. So let's talk about divorce, right? If I get divorced, what programs are available for a man going through divorce, right? What options
Uh-huh.
does he have, right? Compared to my female counterpart who has access to WIC, food stamp, child support, spouse support, alimony, um, and a community of other women, right? I don't have that. I don't have that as a man. And so men are now pushing back and because we've been undervalued for a really long time.
And I agree with you that men are and have been undervalued for a long time. That's pretty evident. My issue is like I went over the six traits of a high value man, and the first thing that's listed is money. That's the number one thing. That's not me. That's Kevin Samuels himself. Money, $10,000 a month in Atlanta dollars. Right? He said it himself. My thing with that is I don't believe that men should be designated or lowered to just being money. First of all, money in this day and age isn't even a real thing. It's just ones and zeros. Really, it's not backed by anything in America. So if I relegate myself to just being a money man, a provider of finances, I'm nothing else and I could never be anything else. Therefore, my value is tied to money. If I lose that money, I'm nothing now. I don't believe that because I've met too many men that did not fit this criteria. They didn't fit these six traits of a high value man, and they were worth more than any that I've ever met. There
Facts.
are people that are broke right now that will give you wisdom and give you wisdom and gems from their experience, their life experience. And if they were to mentor other men, imagine what they could do.
Right.
And yet there's Jeff Bezos and them that are flying off to space in penis-shaped rockets that I don't think do a fucking thing for us.
Right.
So that's my thing there. I don't believe this, like, again, like we were talking behind the scenes. I don't believe that Kevin Samuels was very wrong. I agreed with a lot of what he said. I disagreed with some of it. I just take what I agree with or what makes sense to me and I leave the rest. Even Andrew Tate, he says some things that I agree with, even in Fresh and Fit podcast, but it does not benefit us as a podcast, I believe, to continue to talk about these things that divide us. That's why I did. And then you said I was scared. That's what bothered me. You said I was scared, man. Me, me for
So
already.
so the statement I pushed back on is because you were like, you have seen this topic talked about plenty of times and you're not going to be one of those podcasts
Facts.
to continue to talk about it. But the reason why those topics are in circulation is because they're important. And so to me, running away from it and saying I'm not going to talk about this because this topic is what is everyone else is talking about and I don't want to be everybody else. Why? Why? Because you have access to a different audience than I do. I have a different access to a different audience that you do. And so not talking about it is part of our problem, right?
So
The hard topic. I talk about, so I
uh,
have gentleman style podcasts. I have brought on speakers on my platform who are completely against God. Why would I avoid it? And that's something the church does a lot of. They avoid the hard topics because they're uncomfortable. I am that Christian that I will talk about the things you don't want to talk about. So let's talk about it, right?
you
Why
see,
don't you
that's
believe in
that's
God?
the thing there, though. That's the difference. You're confusing the two. I want to stay away from topics that are always being talked about and causes division. I would love to have people on there like that. I invited, before we got to where we are right now,
Mhm.
I invited a friend of mine that was a devout Christian. Nothing she said makes sense to me. And I wanted her on just so we could share those perspectives. Same difference, right?
Right, right,
That's
right.
what we do here. My thing is, if you're already talking about it, why do I also need to talk about it? That's my problem, right? And that's what I'm not trying to do. So we brought the Christian thing into it. Was Jesus a high value man?
No, he was not. Jesus was not a high value man. He was a man of value, right? He didn't have 10,000 dinar a month or pesos or whatever, whatever, right? He
Yeah, yeah.
didn't have, he rode in on a donkey, right? He didn't have
Hmm.
servants. He didn't have slaves. Even though slavery was a big thing. But he was a man of value. He was sought after
Hmm.
versus you him seeking you or him saying, "Hey, come to me over in Nazareth so I could come heal you and your big toe." Right? He came to you. He washed your feet, right? And that's something you don't get from all the descriptions that you listed. That's me, a high value man. What I can do, how much I can make, what doors I can open for you if you come to me. Jesus didn't do that, right? I don't do that, right? We shouldn't do that, right? That because as soon as you stop making the $10,000 a month, what happens to you? Now you're not worth anything. Your friends cut you off. The network that you had access to, because you can no longer go meet them at the golf course or the cigar lounge, what your worth is now diminished. We see the same thing played out with veterans, right? And I hate this when I used to work at the VA, right? Everybody wants to hang around the water cooler talking about what they used to do. I don't give a damn what you used to do. What are you doing now? How are you helping people now? Right? And a lot of veterans identify themselves by their past job in the military, right? And that's not who you are. That's something you did, right? So what do you do, right? And so to me, a high value man versus a man of value is a man of value leaves something behind even after he's gone and even after he's left the room.
Okay. So this, I gave you the six traits of a high value man. And for those that just coming in, I'll go over them again. One, money, $10,000 a month in Atlanta dollars. Two, the length of time you've had that money, at least 3 to 5 years. Three, group acceptance by other high value men. Four, network of high value men first, then everybody else. Five, visibility. The position and the income you hold must be LinkedIn level. Six, utility. You have to be useful to others and the group. Of those six, right? Do you agree with that list at all?
Um, no, no, no.
West Girl, that was from Kevin Samuels, the Godfather himself. Rest in peace.
No, I don't agree with anything on that list because all of those things can end, right? My network can end, my income can end, my friends can leave me. Who are you when all of that is gone? Who are you when you remove all your fine clothing and jewelry? Who That's what lasts, right? People never remember what you say. People always remember how you make them feel. So that feeling that you leave behind is the value. What do people remember you for? How have you impacted a life today? And so, you, and again, you challenge me with this, right? This is not just one sided, y'all. I'm not just picking on him. He has picked at me and got me. Like, I'm talking middle of the night, one eye open, got me, right? He'll be like, what the hell is this, big bro or little bro? And I'm like, what? And I take it on the chin and I walk and I fix it, right? So don't think I'm this is not one sided at all. But yeah, it Donald Trump is Donald Trump. Donald Trump, he, he value is what you want. So we talked about this behind set. Ladies, what would be more valuable to you, right? A man that makes $10,000 a month or a man who can build a house from scratch, right? The man that can fix your car, right? You don't have to take it to the shop. Where is the value in that? and it depends on you.
While while the ladies gathering themselves, please answer in the comments, right? Say that question one more time and then I'll come back in.
So the question is, a high value man. So we're talking about high value for those joining. We're talking about high value man versus a man of value. And so a high value man, according to the wiki Kevin Samuels, is 10,000. One of the requirements is $10,000 a month based off of the Atlanta rate dollars. And so, ladies, what do you place more value on a man? Him making $10,000 a month, or a man that can build a house from scratch, right? I'm talking he goes to Home Depot and he builds a wall. Where do you place the value in that man? Where is his value? What if he doesn't make 10,000 a month, but he can fix your car? What makes that man valuable?
So with that question, right? Placing value. We all agree that value is determined by the individual and what we need, what we like, what we want, right? Ladies, please, please, please stop making the cooking versus building a house comparison. You
Mm,
sound ridiculous. Those
mm,
two skills are not even remotely the same in value. My ability to build a house and your ability to cook chicken Alfredo does not belong in the same arena. All right? That would be like little old me fighting Mike Tyson in his prime. Do not put those two things together anymore. Please pick something else. Do something else, like T Pain said. Please. Like, because sometimes y'all be saying some stuff and there's no logic to it. Like, if you even push a little bit into what you're saying, the whole logical fallacy falls apart. You cannot compare cooking and building a house. Those two things are worlds apart in skill level. Okay.
right. A cookbook versus yeah, a whole degree, a whole
Fuck a cookbook. I could go to
licensing, a
TikTok now.
licensure.
I could get a TikTok
Yeah,
recipe and just watch my phone and don't do that.
and
Do
make
you
it.
understand that the stuff you need to cook is what he's going to put into the house?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That is so true. And so that value system is really skewed. I really work hard to be a man of value, right? I really work hard to do something bigger than me. Because it's not about me when you get to a certain point. It's not about you, it's not about us. It's about what you leave behind. And what you leave behind is the value. I could sit here today and make. There are people who make $5,000 a month, and they're incredible. Just like you said, I don't place a lot of weight on people who make a high income, because if you're insides, if I meet a girl that makes a lot of money, let me rephrase this. I've met girls that make a lot of money and they're ugly. They're really ugly on the inside, right? It's really superficial. I met some friends of mine and they place a lot of value on the amount of money a man can make. And
I can't tell if this pause is me or you. God damn. All right, Marcus, if you can hear me, please leave the chat and come back in. But I'm going to continue. All right. So, another thing with men and value, right? So, men tend to get put into a box, and women, I believe that women should be able to exist just and live based off who they are and feel value in who they are as a person, because each and every one of us is unique. We're special. That is true, right? I believe men should have the same thing. But nowadays, we keep hearing that men need to be providers, men need to be providers, blah, 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 right? But the thing about it with the providing thing, it seems to only be concerned with monetary value, with providing financially. Men need to be able to provide emotional stability. We need to be able to provide support. We need to be able to help nurture our children, care for our children, take them out, play with them. We need to be able to provide security. We need to provide respect, love in our homes, because those days are done where the man just brings home the paycheck, sits down, his wife brings the slipper and the food. Them days done, man. Men need to be more than, but we don't need to have the weight of the world on our shoulders anymore, because we can see now suicide rates keep increasing. One of the reasons is because of the pressures that men have on their shoulders. So I don't know what to tell y'all, but like, when are we going to wake up? Myrie Williams, spiritually too, agreed. Because technically, if you believe, that's up to you. If you believe that the men in your household are supposed to be the leaders, that means spiritual leaders as well. It just is what it is. Mentally, physically, spiritually is more important than money. I agree with you, because we need to be able to feed your soul, your entire human being. We are all humans here, right? Men are not just workhorses and mules. We're humans. Marcus, I cannot hear you. I can't even see you. So please go ahead and leave out. Try coming back in. I don't know what's up with your internet, but this is what happens, when you go live. It's a part of it. So I'm noticing no ladies have any answers to that question. The question Marcus posed before: $10,000. Would you prefer a man that makes $10,000 a month, or a man that could fix everything in the house? He could take care of the plumbing, the car, all of that himself. Which one is more valuable to you? Because often men get requested to do those things, right? Sometimes we might get looked down on if we can't. So, ladies, if you could hear me in the chat, please go ahead and provide your answer. A man that can fix everything. Okay. Okay, Myrie Williams. So on the flip side of that also, does it make a man that just makes money and can't fix those things less valuable? Huh. Neither, because that's one aspect you're mentioning. One aspect of a relationship, or what? Taneja Prosper. Tyneja Prospere says, I prefer a man that can fix everything. So that man would be more valuable to you. Can you tell us why in the comments? Marcus, your screen is black. We cannot hear you. We can't see you. We don't know what's going on. Traits for each man. Okay. That's one aspect of a man. All right. Fair enough. But we're doing that because, again, we're talking about the high value man. What makes a man valuable to you? To me, a man is valuable based off of his level of character, his integrity, um, what he does with his community, what kind of man he is with his family, what kind of man he is with the people around him. Me, I've never respected a title, because those titles don't mean shit. Because I've seen all the time people get put into positions where they have a high title, but they don't garner respect. You could be a man with a high position and people just don't fuck with you because of who you are. And then there's people on that same team, right? There's people in that same team, and I know you've seen it. They have the person who has the title and the person that doesn't, but that person garners respect. People go to them out of nowhere to ask them questions. They will bypass the supervisor and the manager and go and talk to them. So, like, that to me is more valuable than the person with the title. All that LinkedIn shit, that means nothing to me personally. But if you notice, we've been trained to ask somebody, as like, when you first meet them, what do you do? What difference does it make what I do? Really? Yes, because anyone can make 10,000, but not every man can fix everything a woman can't fix. Ooh, I'm having a hard time making 10,000 a month, but I get what you're saying. Amani Doward, I do not identify as a high value man, a man of value, or a provider. I identify as just a man. I exist and walk this life the best, this best in the best of my ability. I feel you on that because that's me. I don't subscribe to labels, period. I'm me. That's all. I'm just me. Tanisha Prosper. It doesn't make the man with money less valuable, but I prefer a man that understands that you can't throw money at everything. That's true. That's true. I ain't gonna lie though. You could sure throw money at some bills. Like you could throw money at it, getting your car fixed all day. They're gonna take it. West Gill, a man of wisdom. I feel like a man of wisdom will eventually make money, and sometimes I do wonder if we just stuck in a hamster wheel anyway. Like sometimes it just hit me like, what the fuck are we doing, man? This life is really just ain't about shit. We just living and existing. Tanisha James, a man who knows what he stands for, understands his strengths and weaknesses, and is able to lean on others to support him in areas he struggles. Example, he's great with the job but hires people to cut the lawn. Um, I agree with that. I personally do not cut my own grass because it's a waste of time. And right now I'm bad at it. So I'd rather just pay somebody to do it. I can, but I'm not going to. I could work on my car, but I'm not going to. I could be spending that time doing other things. So people need to understand that as well. Sometimes people that have a lot going on, they might be able to do it, but they choose not to. Like I could change a tire all day. Do I want to? No. My question is always, do you love what you do? What do you need to grow in or monetize it? Siobhan Thomas, thank you for that because that's true. A lot of the times we don't monetize what we do. And I've noticed that with black people especially. And every other race seems to be able to do it. Like if they're good at it, they're gonna monetize that shit. And then they'll even take what we're good at and then monetize it also. But hey, that's another topic. Hey, look at here. We got a gentleman back.
Sorry about that, y'all.
So
Appreciate
good.
y'all. Appreciate y'all. So, what did I miss?
A lot. A
A
lot.
lot.
We we
I'm
we
sorry.
we we've been taking questions from the comment section. Here's one.
Okay.
My question is always, do you love what you do? What do you need to grow in? Monetize it.
What do I love to do? What I love to do and what I currently do are not the same things.
Mm,
So and again, this is another thing that my brother pushed back on me about. Because men oftentimes affiliate themselves with what they do as to identify who they are. So if I walk up to you on the street and I say, "Who are you?" You're gonna tell me I'm the project manager of this company, or I'm the HR director of this company. But that's what you do. That's not who you are. And so men struggle to identify themselves. So what I do is not what I love to do. What I love to do, and what I do is I do real estate. I do ATMs. I just expanded, and I'm opening my second cannabis dispensary business, my second business. But that's not my passion. My passion,
drugs. Drugs.
cannabis, weed. So I'm the weed man now. But those are things that those are what I do, right? But what I love is I love helping people, right? I love helping people. I love encouraging people. I love inspiring people to be their best selves, to see the potential in themselves, and to speak to that and to coach to that. So yes, I'm in business, but that's not what I love to do. I love helping people. I love talking to people and learning about them and helping people grow into their best selves. So prime example, the cannabis business the cannabis business that I'm in, it specializes in the medicinal side of cannabis. So I'm not the guy if you want to get high. I'm the guy that you come to when you're in pain, when you can't sleep from insomnia. And that gives me joy. That's what I love to do. I love reading the reviews on my Google page when people say, I haven't slept in 30 years and I got the best night's sleep last night thanks to this product from Marcus. That's what I love. And so if you ask me what I love to do what helps people because that's what leaves a legacy behind. That's what people remember you for. I ask myself every single day and I challenge myself, if I died today, what would they put on my headstone? And if what they would write on my headstone, not what I would want to be remembered by, then I need to change today, not tomorrow, not next week. And so I work every day to hit that.
I appreciate that. I like that. And everybody out there, he does not like when I push back. To be clear, he hates that shit.
I'm the
All
younger
right?
brother. I'm not
Yeah,
supposed
yeah,
to.
yeah, yeah. And he is an ass hole. Let me tell you. He will ask me for advice and do the completely different. He will do the completely different thing from what I said, and he would prefer to do what he was going to do anyway, and come back and tell me, "Hey, you were right," than just do what I said. So, hey, there's a lot going on behind the scenes, but it's all love between the brothers, and this man is doing it big, as you can tell, and I'm proud of him. I'm very proud of him. Let's get to some of these comments since you came back in. I know people say only people with money say money doesn't solve problems, but it matters more how much you keep versus how much you make. True. If you have 10,000 a month, but you spend it all, who cares? There's a lot of millionaires out there that are broke. They bring in $1 million a month, they're still broke because they spend $1.5 million.
Yeah. But that being said, people who don't make $1 million have a very fantastic, fulfilling lifestyle. So there's a gentleman I listen to, and what he his kids speak 12 languages. He has 5 children. All of them speak 12 languages. And so that is very intentional. And I think that is more valuable than any dollar amount. Because what he's doing, and what he's publicly said is he is building his children so that there is no place in the world they cannot go. There is no job opportunity that his kids can't pursue. And if one economy is down now, we have the stuff with Israel, Russia invaded a couple months ago. So people, when your back is against the wall, you need to leave a place. One of the things that prohibits you from leaving is that language barrier. And so that having teaching your kids at a very early age to speak 12 different languages is worth its weight in gold. And so
That's
that's
a smart
value.
man.
That's a
That's a
huge
smart man because no matter the job, if it requires a bilingual version, that's more money than what you were making.
yeah. But what if the job is in France? Or what if
Mm,
it's in Spain? His
true.
kids can move there comfortably and
Yeah.
adapt quickly and get the job. The job that you and I could not take,
True.
right? If they now he's working on getting his kids to speak Japanese.
Because they're gonna rule everything.
They're gonna own most of it,
Exactly. So
right?
I'm interested on getting your takes on these next few set of questions and comments.
Yes, sir.
Um, Myrie Williams. I rather a man who can be a mechanic at home, a man who can be a chef at home, a plumber, a doctor, a landscaper, a leader, a father, a husband, a contractor at home. You can make 10,000 and still have to pay someone else to do all the above at home. Then you already have one at home. I will say this, Myrie, please keep in mind that that is a human being. All right. I understand why you would appreciate that and love that. However, that is a person, right? So keep in mind that when you put those things on a person, it's a weight in addition to everything else that they do. What you guys say, Marcus?
I would do that. I would do that. So I I would be a stay at home dad. I think I'd make a very great stay at home dad. If you want me to do those things, sure, I'll do those things. I'll learn how to plumb. I'll learn. I don't think that's a word. I'll learn how to be a plumber. I'll learn how to fix the cars. I'll work on the cars. I'll learn how to do all of that stuff if I could stay at home. And then you go to work and make all the money, and you make the $10,000 a month, and then I'll quickly jump to that. Is that an offer? Is that an offer? Is that what we?
You gotta wife him up, ladies. You gotta wife him up.
But yeah, I mean that is significant. I'd rather a man who be a mechanic at home. Yeah. So let me be clear. I am not a mechanic, right? I am not mechanically inclined. I am the guy that pays for stuff, right? I'm the man that pays for stuff. So if something broke down, I'm the guy that's writing the check. I'm not the guy that's going to get under the hood of your car and figure out that your spark plug is blown. I'm not that dude. But if you want me to be that dude, because relationships, marriages evolve. And so if that's what, I know a gentleman, his marriage had to evolve. He and his wife were both military, and his wife deployed overseas. He had to evolve. He could not continue to sit there and say, well, a woman should be cooking, a woman should be cleaning, or a man should be fixing the car, a man should be doing all this. That man had to evolve to be what his family needed at that time. And so I may make money now, but if my marriage requires a different me, I'd be open to that. But that's a conversation that me and my partner needs to have, because I can't do it all. Marriages and relationships are not designed to be done by themselves. So if that's what you need, let's talk about it. Let's talk what and how does that fit into your world as well if we're together?
I can do those things, and what I can't do, I can watch a video and learn. Will it look like if we paid someone? Probably not. It'll be passable. It'll pass inspection. But I can do it. But I think what my brother is trying to say is, do you prefer a man that could kind of mix and match and adapt and, you know what I'm saying, move with what needs to happen at the time? Because I think that's what we need to focus on. Things change, situations change. If you have a man that goes from working a 9 to 5, it's an easy job, he have time. You know what I'm saying? Like, what if he works 4 days a week? He's off the other 3, he got some time, he could do those things. Yeah. What if you have a man that works 6 days a week? Are you also going to want him to do those things as well? Right. We have to learn to adapt, right? Because life is constantly changing. The only thing that's constant in life is change. Tanisha James says, I noticed there's a lot of comments regarding money. Jeff Bezos' wife divorced him. Facts. There's more to a man than his financial standing. Not that it isn't important, but that doesn't make him whole. She's also rich as fuck now, though, after that divorce.
Yeah. She's the second wealthiest woman in the world now.
And we don't know her name.
And we don't know her name. We talked about it.
We don't know her name.
Nobody, if you know her name without Googling, what is the name of Jeff Bezos' ex-wife?
Put it in chat. Put it in chat right now. Chat.
But
don't Google.
Don't Google. Don't cheat. What is her name? You know her husband's name, right? And she's the second wealthiest woman in the world now. And most people, I think, can't identify who she is. And so that's to Tanisia's question. Can you put it back up there? That's to Tanisia's question. Yes, his wife left him because of the money. So money isn't everything. We see examples of this all the time.
I don't think she left him because of the money. I think she left him because he's not a man of value. He's a high value man. He's not a man of value.
Right. I agree with you. I agree. I don't think she left because of the money. Because he had plenty of it. And so that's why, again, as a man, if you follow the Kevin Samuels path, you'll connect with women. You'll connect with a lot of women, probably. But what is that the kind of relationship you want to build, where women are attracted to you because of who you are, because you're a high value man? No, I want to be a man of value. I prefer to be a man. Men their goals should be to aspire to be a man of value, not a high value man, according to Kevin Samuels' definition.
Hey, I'd like to point out that this man changed his tune. This whole thing started because he was touting the high value man thing.
So there are high value men, right?
Of course.
There are high value men, right? I don't deny that. I don't deny that. There are high value men, and to the effect that I'll say, I met one of them and I was like, damn. But
Mhm.
it was a damn not because of it wasn't a damn because of how much money he made. It was a damn because they put a lot of weight on themselves, and I wouldn't want that power. I wouldn't want to be known as a high value man, right? I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want that burden. People are because to me that's dangerous. I think Nick Cannon spoke about it that now in all his relationships, right? He doesn't know who to trust.
Mhm.
Ever since he broke up with Mariah Carey, he can't tell who loves him for him
Well,
or
well,
who
well.
loves him for money. And was it 12 kids later, right? Did they love you because of you, or did they just want to have a kid? Or did you
I
want to have a kid?
I hate using Nick Cannon as an example just because of how many children he has. You see how it contradicts? I don't know if she loves me. We're gonna make a baby. You see how it contradicts itself?
It can, yeah.
This man here is a whole problem. Calico Jones says, who determines the value or defines what valuable is? Does it depend on who you're presenting this value to? We talking in terms of relationship or general value? To me, value is determined by the individual every single time. That's what value is. Value has no set price, it has no set amount because I could show you a ring, and in my mind, it's worth millions. In yours, it's worth $1. But it could be a priceless heirloom to some, and it's priceless. What do you think, Marcus?
So I think a high value man determines his value. A man who is a high value man determines his value. He's telling you, I'm a high value man. A man of value is determined by his audience and the people surrounding him. His circle determine his value. Um there was a man who was a police officer. He was a semi high ranking police officer, I think in New York or something. And he died. Well, this man, his memorial service, he had mayors, he had one or two celebrities, he had parades in his honor. He was a police officer. That's it. And I'm not trying to minimize our men in blue, but he was a police officer. But he had the biggest celebration that we had seen in a long time. And the reason for this is because the lives he impacted. And so a high value man says, my value is this. A man of value is determined by the people and the lives he's impacted.
Um, fuck the police. Okay, so I think you're gonna like this, Marcus. Marcus, DM about to be on fire. Siobhan Thomas says it is it. If it's an offer, accept it quick, my son. And she attractive too.
Oh my god. Oh my god. No, man. No. If my DM is on fire, I don't do the thing that ladies do, leave a guy on red, right?
Mm-hmm.
I respond to DMs, right?
Calico Jones said Mrs.
Bezos.
Bezos. That's her name. That's her
That's
name.
her
All
name.
right.
Yeah, there we go. See? Second richest woman in the world. I digress. I'll
Go
let
ahead.
the economists prove that theory, but that's crazy to me. But anyway, um yeah, man, I respond to every DM. I respond to DMs, but that doesn't mean you're going to get my time. That doesn't mean you're going to get my number. The
That's
funny thing to
valuable.
the funny thing to me is, yeah, I place a lot of value on me,
As you
right?
should.
I blew this a friend of mine's mind one day when he said, Marcus, the girl is, because I showed him a picture of one girl I was dating a year or two ago. And he's like, damn. And I said, yeah, but we still broke up. Every girl that I've dated, I have not been with intimately. And that shocked him. And it's because I hold myself to a higher standard, right? I just because she's pretty, attractive, beautiful, whatever, doesn't mean we're gonna sleep together. Doesn't mean we're gonna connect in that way. And that's because I value my time. I value my time, and there's a lot of people out there that are not worth your time.
Facts. And
So
for any of those wondering, I don't care how pretty you are. I leave me alone. Leave me alone.
stay out. Stay out.
Calico Jones, are morals and value synonymous? I do not think so.
No,
I
they
do
are not.
not think so.
They are not.
For
Definitely.
one, value,
Good
how we're
question though.
talking about it, that is a good question. Value, how we're talking about it, and morals, nah. But when there is a way that morals and value seem to like, what's the word? Um, damn, they're closely linked. Sometimes when you're talking about a person's value system and what their morals and their principles are. But would I say it's synonymous? Even then, I don't think so, because your values can change, and your values you can judge other people based on them, right? Your morals are just for you. Like, this is how you live, and this is the standard by which you set it, and that's it. But your value system, it allows you to judge other people by it if they're not living by this value system and such. So I would say no. What about you, Marcus?
Values can change, morals don't. Your morals don't change, your values do. What you value in this time can change, but your morals is your core, who you are at your core, and that does not change, right? People exemplify, people put in there and they say money is the root of all evil. Money is not the root of all evil. I think money enhances who you already are. It Because Trump, since you brought it up, Donald Trump, he can be seen as someone with probably low values, but his morals are different. His morals don't change. His money brought out who he was. Money brought out his morals
But he
because he,
always had it.
huh?
He always had money now. He was
He
born
always
into money.
he always had money, and money brought out who he was and his family, who they were. His father worked in real estate and was a pioneer in a lot of real estate, and that's where the money came from. But the morals, the Ku Klux Klan, the stuff, whatever you
Mm.
want to dive into, if you go down this man's genealogy,
It's sketchy.
his morals are sketchy, but that doesn't change, right? And that's ingrained in him. That does not change. Values change.
All right. So I want you to weigh in on this. And what's interesting is he considered equally yoked with Mariah? We talking about Nick Cannon now,
Nick
which you know
Cannon.
he's not. He also said he never cheated on her. First of all, please answer in the chat, right? And I want you to take this, Marcus. Equally yoked, if I'm not mistaken. I may have misread it, but to me, when I read equally yoked in the Bible or whatever, I'm thinking on more than financial or whatever, because I understand that a yoke is a burden. A yoke is what they used to put the around the oxen's neck, and it'd be two of them, and they would share that yoke when they pull in whatever it is or whatever. That's a yoke. To be equally yoked mean you're sharing a burden. So it's not necessarily financial. It's spiritual, it's financial, yes. Religion, you need to be equal along those lines, or at least on the same page. What do you think?
I think I agree with that. I don't think they were equally yoked. I think Mariah helped accelerate it a lot of. So if you look at Nick Cannon, right? Nick Cannon versus Mariah, right? Nick Cannon was Nickelodeon. He on Wildin' Out? No, not Wildin' Out. Was he on
He is
all?
wilding out. He
He is
is
Wildin'
wilding
Out.
out, sir. Yeah.
Wildin' Out, Nickelodeon. He was on The Voice, right, or doing some stuff with that. But Mariah really helped him build Wildin' Out, and she believed in him. But I don't think they were equally yoked. Mariah sells out every Christmas, every holiday. She has a song for. Mariah was a celebrity far in advance of him. But I believe when it comes to being equally yoked, um, you have to believe in your person, right? Life is designed to share the load, right? And what we miss in relationships, we miss the point of connecting with people, really connecting with people. I think we cut people off well in advance before we get to know who they really are. I asked recently on my Facebook page a couple weeks ago, and I think like a handful of people answered, a handful of women. I said, "Women, have you ever dropped the ball on a good guy?" And I think like like five women answered honestly, right? Answered, I think I dropped the guy back in high school. And said, "No, girl, you dropped the guy recently," right? You fumble a good guy, and it takes that level of introspection to be that aware of yourself. But we're missing the connection. We say equally yoked. We want someone we're equally yoked in, and but we don't want to subscribe to someone who's up and coming, who's building, right? But that's what you want, right? You want someone to believe in you. You want someone to support you and love you and share this journey with you. But we mess that up often. And so equally yoked, really internalize what that means. Because I may not be on the same level as you. Hell, if Mariah Carey could have whoever she wanted. She didn't need to be with Nick Cannon. Again, he was doing Nickelodeon. He was doing stand up. He was doing Def Jam, comedy clubs. He wasn't the same page as Mariah. And she built him up. And here he is with Wildin' Out, blowing up. Multi-billion-dollar network.
Just to play devil's advocate here, right? As far as equally yoked when we're talking about finances, there's things that we need to take into account. On the one hand, I understand why a woman would not want to be at a certain level and then kind of, in a sense, look back and give a helping hand to a man that is not at where she is. I understand that. Also, falling for potential can be potentially hazardous, right? She could see a dude that has that gleam of destiny in his eye, and he's set on a path where he is currently not where he needs to be, but he's on a path to, right? And she could link their destinies, right? And end up in a tragic situation by doing so. You get what I'm saying? Because at any point, that man could be derailed. However, I also watched that Tyler Perry show, Acrimony. Right? So, one thing is sometimes you need to know when to hop off the train. Two, a man with potential is not necessarily just a bum. You know what I'm saying? So you kind of have to gauge that based on who you're dealing with a person's character. That's why it's important to get to know people. And I don't think we're actually getting to know people anymore. No. But clearly you have something to say on that. Go ahead.
Why clearly? So yeah, we are not connecting well, right? We're jumping off the train before we really take the time to get to know people, right? And so you tell that and you avoid those mishaps and those hazards in seeing potential by watching what someone does. I never believe what a woman tells me. Never. Ever. A woman could say, I literally have been in a relationship with a girl who said, "Oh, I'm a cook, I'm a clean. When we get married, I'm going to do all these things." She's saying this to me, right? But when I call you in the middle of the day, late at night, early morning, "Hey, what you doing?" "Oh, nothing. I'm just here laying around. I called out from work. I just didn't feel..." Like, that's what you do. So what you do and what you say are two different things. And marriage is not the place for me to experiment to find out in hopes that you're going to be this great wife that you said you was. I never believe what people say. I always watch what they do. And what you do is who you are, right? Who you are is the habits that you've built over the course of your life is who you are. So that's what I say.
On that note, because that was a gem. That boy spitting bars today. I like that. I like that. It's true. Don't believe them. Believe what they show you. So all of that talk about, I ain't doing no husbandly duties, I ain't doing no wifely duties. You can get the fuck on. Yeah. For real. Because first of all, if I can't see it now, why should I believe it for the future? I am not a fortune teller, ma'am. You looking for a Miss Cleo. I'm not that. But hey, that was bars, bro. So with that, we gonna go ahead and take it to your last words of wisdom. What do you want to share with the people that's listening and watching?
What I want to share with the people listening and watching, um, because let's say I don't date women who do I'm a princess, I'm a pretty girl princess. I don't date women that have that mindset. What's the other one? Happy wife, happy life. I'm her. All of these things are made up, right? All of these things are stuff you made up because it sound good. But what are you doing? And so what you find when you peel back the onion with some of these women, there's nothing there, right? And so that is frustrating. And so I encourage people to just do the work. Do the work, do whatever it is you set your heart out to do, and do that. And what you do and the legacy that you're building will speak for itself. I appreciate the introduction, but what you do will enter a room way before you ever do. And so work on that. Stop lying to people. Stop lying to people, making up stuff like I'm her, I'm this, I'm that, I'm a king, I'm a high value man. Just work on you. Build what you're destined here. Build what you're put on this earth to do and do that. And that will introduce you. Don't make up stuff.
Mm, I love it. I love it. So, what we didn't touch on is, I think me and you had a conversation. We did have a conversation offline about being the prize, right? And what you just said made me think about it. So, value, right? We value prizes, even though it may just end up on a shelf. So, for me, I one of the things that's happening and being said out there in the internets is about the woman being the prize or the man being the prize and who's the prize and this, that, and the third. The thing that I don't like about anyone being the prize, prizes don't do shit. Prizes just exist. Prizes just are. Somebody pays for them, they put them up. This is what you win. You gonna have to work for it. You're gonna have to train for it. You're gonna have to put in all the work, all the effort, and then I will give you this thing that does nothing. Right? So be careful what you say when you say I'm the prize. And I think that some women, don't get mad at me, I think that some women like the idea of being the prize because of what it suggests. Because I'm a words guy, right? And if you say that you're the prize, you're telling me when I win you, when I put in all the work to get you, you ain't gonna do shit. You will not put in any of the effort. You'll not put in any of the work, but I will have you. And who has to continue when you win a prize or you win a belt or whatever? Who has to keep putting in that work afterwards to maintain that? Who has to go and fight for to keep their belt?
It yeah, it's wild. So I'm gonna say it right.
Go
I'm
ahead.
gonna say so. Women withhold sex to form compliance, right?
Oh shit.
And so I'm gonna say, right, that whole prizing. So I dated a prize, right, a quote unquote prize. You go on this woman's social media page. I'm the prize. Men need to step to me correct. Men need to come like this. Men need to spend at least this much on me before we ever, get serious. Before I claim him or he claim me. I dated a prize. So again, you peel back the onion, and then I come to find out the woman had 6 kids, 4 baby daddies. She's unemployed, right? She's unemployed. She lives in her parents' basement, and she has a side business of making potions and lotions and oils and snake oils and cucumber skins and all kind of craziness right in her basement. And so this woman advocates that she's the prize, and she really believes this. And so again, when y'all sit there and brag about the prize, make sure you have it together, right? Make sure it's not monetary, but make sure you have something better than what you're alluding to. Because here's the thing about that passage of scripture, and it's always funny to me when people. I'm gonna try and be fast about this. That sentence comes from the other depiction that people reference about he who finds a wife finds a good thing, right? So those two kind of are synonymous. You kind of hear them in the same circles. But here's the thing: if you quote that scripture and say, "He who finds a wife finds a good thing," and women have been made to believe I'm the prize, I'm the good thing, there are things that go into that. There are things you have to do in order to be considered that good thing. And if you don't have those things, or you're not practicing those things, you are not the prize. You are not the good thing, and you are not a wife. And so I need us to step out of this delusional state that we're in, where we're kind of just making up stuff because it sounds good.
And I'm not even going to go into scripture because as heathen as I am, I know a good bit of it because I was forced in the church. And if you look into what the definition of a virtuous woman is, it's a lot of work. Like a lot of y'all ain't waking up at 3 a.m. and hand washing clothes and preparing the farm. And if you read what a virtuous woman is, whoo, like y'all need to chill. But first of all, let me go ahead and exit on this. Right.
Okay.
My value does not depend on what anyone else thinks of me, what anybody else classifies me. I am secure in who I am. That prize business, I'm not in the prize business. I'm not a prize fighter. You get what I'm saying? Like, I want effort. I want reciprocity. I want the same energy, because I'm not in this to lose. I want a partner. You're supposed to be looking for a partner in life, and life is long. Some say it's short, but 40, 60, 70 years, that's a long time to be fighting for a prize.
Right.
My value is in what I provide outside of not just money, spiritually, as a leader, as a man, in myself. I'm comfortable in that, and I bring it. All right, man. Hey, that's the gentleman. I'm Josh. It's the Same Difference podcast. We love you. We out.